those who have followed him and those who are following him until the day of Qiyamah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I welcome you specially on today's edition of Assalam Peace Magazine, Echoes of Hajj, a program specially created to give you details, updates on what is happening in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, especially regarding Nigerian pilgrims over there in Mecca, because most of them are already in Mecca, and now arrangement is on top gear for to start airlifting them back home to Nigeria, inshallah, and other countries. But we talk just focusing on our own pilgrims. So my name is Aliu Doma, and I'm not alone on the program as usual. I
remain Abdullah Usman Liman, piloting you on Hajj Flight 961 to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Mashallah. And inshallah, during the course of the program, we will also link up with a guest who will give us update on what is happening over there in Saudi Arabia. I recall that yesterday we had a conversation with our correspondent in person of Al-Hajj Abdul Fattah, who told us that there was going to be a meeting
about 10 p.m. Saudi Arabian time.
Yes.
Which is like 12 a.m. Nigerian time, approximately. Not very specifically, approximately 12
p.m. 8 p.m.
Okay, 8 p.m. So
yeah,
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Saudi Arabian time, but 8 p.m. in Nigeria, because they are 2 hours ahead of us.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was trying to project Nigeria 2 hours ahead of Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
they are the ones that are 2 hours ahead of us. So the meeting went, and there are a lot of updates to talk about in terms of the meeting, and update around the issue of movement, talking about airlifting of pilgrims back home. I think there is update on that regard.
Yes, but I think that will be dependent on the meeting, although he said from Wednesday.
Yeah, the schedule is that we have the schedule here. We will be giving you the schedule so that you'll be up to date on what is happening.
Especially for families that are expecting their loved ones.
Yes,
people from your location, the national location. I bet they will be anticipating their husbands, their wives, their sisters, their mothers who have embarked on this spiritual journey to answer the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, actually this is the breakdown of the schedule of flight operations that will be bringing back pilgrims home. Max Air will have 3 trips, and it starts from 10, or let me just start from the ones that will come first. Air Peace will start movement on 4th, which is tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow some pilgrims will start coming back, and Air Peace will be moving Kwara pilgrims. So also Fly Nas will start movement tomorrow, 4th, with Sokoto contingent, and also Asman on the 5th with Jigawa pilgrims. Then Aero Contractors will be bringing Nasarawa contingent on the 6th. Then Max Air, theirs is going to be on the 10th, talking about Plateau State pilgrims. So hopefully from tomorrow, inshallah, pilgrims will start coming back based on the meeting that was held yesterday. So that's part of the update. Alhamdulillah.
May Allah bring them back home safely.
I mean. And also we would be taking some more updates from the activity review that was held yesterday, because we told our listeners that we will be bringing them details of what transpired during the meeting, yeah. So
a meeting or a briefing.
Yeah, it's just to review the activity, because they had one pre-Arafat, and now that everything is done
post-Arafat. For those who are streaming live, I think you can get clips and images of those the meeting, I guess. For those who are streaming live on YouTube, you can always see the images of the meeting and the participants.
Yes, you can actually watch what we are doing live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. You can watch us live, what we're doing. You could see some of the videos pictures sliding through there. And don't forget that this program is still open for advert and sponsorship, you can do well to call us on 0700 010 961 961, or better still, you can also visit our office here in number 4 Ogbomosho Street, area 8 Garki, Abuja. Yes. So now we will first of all take the update from the chairman, also CEO Alhaji Kule Hassan Zikirullah. Let's take his own response after the review meeting yesterday.
So far, as at this moment,
and I will tell you our observation. First, I would like to react to the fact that there's invasion this year from people who are illegal pilgrims, and I agree with you. And there were invasions and they were embarrassing. I don't know the percentage, but we see people who had no business in being there, and therefore those people, few days after Muna, they turn Muna into a market. They turn it into a bazaar, into a carnival. And at that time, the whole essence of the Hajj was almost lost. But my response to that is that we are not in a position to checkmate them. We do not have security control, so there's no way we can check the invasion, which we also believe is an embarrassment to us. There's no way we could check them. The only appropriate authority who could check them are our host. Not us. What I'm trying to tell you is the feedback from our pilgrims when many of them were feeling the pain and they did not also know that we are sharing in the pain, but that we are helpless. First is the issue of the tent. Our belief is that the same tent that we used for last year's Hajj of about 43,000 is the same tent we used for 95,000. That's our belief. There is no way it can be adequate because last year's sale was merely managed. So with that point, we already knew as people were going to Muna ahead that this year, with or without illegal invasion, the Mina challenge is going to be there. And you will agree with me that it's a long time that we have Hajj with this kind of harsh weather. And many pilgrims who looks towards an enjoyable Hajj have to find themselves under the sun for days. And there were nowhere else to go except to remain under the sun. Many don't know that the best we can do as an Hajj mission is only to complain. We had no power or control over the tent. We were just helpless. And this is not a good one for the pilgrims who have looked towards a very enjoyable Hajj. For many of them, they have saved for years to come. And for many of them, it will be their only one-time experience. So staying under the sun, looking at the Hajj mission and we're helpless is indeed something that we thought that it's not the best for the pilgrims. Granted that there were invasions, but in cases where people noted the invaders, they were chased out of the tent. But still, it has not solved the problem. Many people were still there. Old people, sometimes sick people under the sun, the kind of sun they are not used to. The second one was the issue of catering. Like the tent, as for catering, also the best role we could do was only to complain. Our only contribution as far as catering is concerned is just the menu. Other contributions is maybe to pay. We have no other contributions. We don't know the caterers. We have done our own side. But what's of observation from the pilgrim? Sometimes you can give me even possibly a food worth maybe 100 Saudi riyal. But if it's not a food I'm used to eating, you have just wasted your money. Our belief is that if you cook a rice for me, believe you me, there's a way a Nigerian man will cook rice different from the way other people will cook rice. So no matter how much you try, the rice will not be something he will like eating. So this year, very many food were just left untouched. Some of the food came very late. For people who had no access to kitchen in the tent, that was why even some of the invaders were able to come more, because some started selling food. And these were the food the pilgrims are used to from their home country, so they find it more attractive. So that in itself, because they were not enjoying the kind of food they want, allowed the invaders to come in more and just turn the place into what I can call an horrible situation.
Alhamdulillah, you heard that from the chairman, CEO of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Alhaji Zikirullah Kule Hassan, giving the overview of what happened during this year's Hajj, and you hear notable complaints and the extent at which they have gone to make sure Nigerian pilgrims over there got a better treatment, especially when it comes to accommodation, tent in Muna, and also the issue of feeding.
Unfortunate situation. It's unfortunate that we had invaders, as he put it, and as he said, they don't have security and that they were helpless. I think but somehow this underscores an earlier statement made by them that they don't have what do they call it now, power over those who cook. You understand? But initially they had said that they provided Nigerian caterers to collaborate with, so that the food looks like. So I think
more Nigerian.
Perhaps as time goes on, we are going to get someone to get a better clarification on this issue, because
certainly going forward, there is always room for improvement. You know, one thing that I actually make a case for the Saudi authority is the fact that the number of pilgrims this year is mammoth. It's something that to control that number of persons, actually, you always want to review on what you have done, so that you see the areas you need to consolidate and areas that you need to make amends. And that is exactly why this review is very important.
If you ask me, I think while I commend them in a lot of areas, I think there is a little bit of what do they call it now? Maybe lack of foresight or something like that, because
you wouldn't say lack of foresight, because they've been doing this thing for
they increased the number on their own, and for them to have increased the number of pilgrims, it means that they must have made arrangements
to factor
factor that increase. For example, now the chairman said they had a 45,000 a tent that covered 45,000 pilgrims last year. That same number of tents is now the one trying to account for about 95,000 pilgrims.
Yes. That on that part, really, they need to do more.
Yes, they have to do more, actually.
All right, another area that has controversy also is the issue of health. When you talk about mortality, in some report you see 13, while some reports are saying 6. So he was able to, talking about our correspondent Alhaji Abdul Salam Abdul Fattah, was able to get an input from the coordinator of the
health team.
Talking about health team, the head of the health team was able to.
I think we had about 350 health practitioners from Nigeria.
Okay, so now their head is the one that was able to give us this update. So let's take a listen.
That's our advanced team.
At this moment, we've lost, sadly, about 13 Nigerian pilgrims. We lost 7 before the Mushair, before the Hajj exercise, and within the 5 days of the Hajj, we lost 6. Most of them were in the Arafat, and this was because many went to Jabal Raham and were exposed to direct sunlight and developed sunstroke and collapsed. Attempt to resuscitate them failed at the time. So we've lost 13. May Allah forgive them of their transgression and grant them entry into Al-Jannah Firdaus. As you are aware, we came with about 524 medical personnel, and we set up different facilities in Medina and in Mecca. In Mecca now we have about 7 facilities, but we also came with about 95,000 pilgrims, which was unprecedented. And so many of them came with illnesses like upper respiratory tract infection, that's cough and cold, body pains, and gastritis and things like that. But some others came with more serious illnesses. Those with chronic morbidities who had to manage many complications of diabetes and hypertension. Some had surgeries done. We had increased cases of fracture from sleeping in the bathroom, using bathroom slippers. And we also had elderly population, and this elderly population also presented with issues that were peculiar to them. So in the whole, you see that in our clinics, we see about 400 to 500, and in Masfala, where our headquarters is, up to 600 patients in a day. But we've also been engaged in health promotion and advocacy to the pilgrims to reduce the physical exertion. We have our pilgrims going to Haram, every now and then. They'll prefer to say there are 5 daily prayers in Haram. From the accommodations to Haram is between 3 to 4 kilometers, and then they have to do this 5 times a day. So even for a healthy person walking every day for 15 kilometers a day, it will be quite exerting on the body. By the end of Isha, you see them flooding into our clinics. So we have been engaged in health education. We've gone to their accommodations, their different accommodations, to engage them on health promotions so that the hospital attendance will reduce. Now, you are correct, because pregnancy and the physical exertion that is experienced here, the very high ambient temperature and so on, can impact negatively on a lady that is pregnant. And indeed, we've seen many who came with threatened abortion. Some had complete loss of the pregnancy, and those with advanced pregnancies, we've had 2 deliveries so far. Now, why we advocate against that? Because it puts the life of the woman and the life of the unborn child at risk. And so we advocate against such persons coming for the pilgrimage, because the ulamas will tell you that you have to be fit and also able to perform Hajj before you come for Hajj. But those that are already here, what we have tried to say is that since you are already in the kingdom, we will now serve you. We will now provide antenatal services. We have in our team prominent obstetricians and gynecologists that can handle the matter. So instead of hiding it or staying in your room and then coming down with emergencies, we prefer that you come and register in our different clinics, and we'll provide antenatal services. Now, I believe the management of NACON has zero tolerance for this, and they are committed to ensuring that the lives of pilgrims are preserved. And so I'm sure they will issue, a more stern warning to the states. But as per the kind of sanction, I do not know. Well, I believe NACON, the management of NACON is in the best position to answer that. We have laid down the issues, and I believe they will look at our reports and then determine the appropriate sanctions.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Alhamdulillah, that was the voice of the medical team lead of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, in person of Dr. Usman Galadima. He has given us updates on what is happening there, and inshallah we will immediately try to connect with someone over there in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in person of Malam Ibrahim, who is the coordinator of independent Hajj reporters. If he picks our call, then we will also have an interaction with him so that he give us updates on what he has done so far with the independent Hajj reporters team over there in Saudi Arabia. We have just a few minutes, inshallah, on the show. Okay, alhamdulillah, he has picked up. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, we're having issue with the network. It's trying to reconnect. I think we'll call him back to see if we will have a smooth conversation with him, inshallah. I'm dialing the number again. Remember, this is Assalam Peace Magazine, Echoes of Hajj, coming to you at this moment. He's online. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Malam Ibrahim, salaam alaikum.
The network is not allowing us to have a good conversation. I don't know. I suspect it should be from his end over there. Well, let's see if we can reach Malam Abdul Salam Abdul Fattah to give us some more updates, because we have a little less than 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
This is Fatab Salam, you are calling on the line?
Yes. We are aware of that. We tried to reach Malam Ibrahim, the coordinator of independent Hajj reporters, but unfortunately we are having issue with his network over there. I don't know whether you together with him. His network is acting up.
No.
We don't have a good conversation. In fact, he was unable to introduce himself on the show.
Well, okay, maybe it's because of networks connections here and there, but I'm not with him immediately.
Okay.
I'm somewhere else in Mokka.
Perhaps we could get a little update from you.
Well, the only addition to what we have done today is to say that some of the air flight will be operating from Medina, but National Commission is struggling to change things.
Okay.
And unfortunately, most of Nigerian pilgrims already went to Medina, so they are devoted in a Moccas as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which means that if they have to go and board again, they have to travel back to Medina.
Yeah.
And Medina to Mocha by road is about 5 hours plus. So, but the head of National Arts Commission Aviation Section, they are working assiduously to change things.
Yeah.
You know, Saudi Arabia, let me also tell you people that Saudi Arabia has a rule because of the number of volume of traffic that we find out from Jeddah International Airport
Yeah.
is so huge that it just reduced number of slots allocated to each country of the world.
Okay.
So because it's only Jeddah Airport, they can fly out.
Yeah.
So the numbers will be up too much for them to handle. So, but when we are coming in, most of us went to Medina first.
Yeah.
So the airlines went to Medina first, and the slots are maintained in Medina.
Yeah.
The only airline that is giving to fly from Jeddah is for now is FlyNass, because FlyNass is a Saudi based airline.
Okay.
So that's the only way we are making it. They have more slots to fly from Jeddah.
Okay.
But as of this afternoon, the head of aviation, Engineer Goni, and his team,
Yeah.
they are working around the clock to ensure that more flights of Nigerians can go through Jeddah. But all these ones we mentioned, they will be flying through Medina. That's all the other I had up to what we've been doing since morning. And we hope that by tomorrow latest, those flights will be flying away from Saudi Arabia.
Inshallah.
May Allah make it easy for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Suma. I mean, thank you very much for that update.
Mm.
All right, you've heard from our correspondent over there in person of Alhaji Abdul Salam Abdul Fattah, who has given us more updates on what we should be expecting. So if you have families that are over there, you should continue to pray for them. Put them in your prayer because they are almost on their way coming back home. I think before we wrap up the show, let me quickly give a rundown again of the flight operation we're expecting. On the 4th, which is tomorrow, we're expecting Air Peace to start moving with Kwara pilgrims, and also flying us with Sokoto contingent. Then on the 5th, we have Azman with Jigawa contingent, while on the 6th, we have Aero contractors with Nasarawa State contingent, while on the 10th, we have Max Air that will be conveying Plateau State contingent, inshallah. So that is the update that we have for now, and I think this is a good time for us to end today's show. Inshallah, tomorrow.
We pray may Allah bring them back home safely.
Tomorrow, inshallah, we will come back to give you
with
more
even
updates.
More updates.
Inshallah. My name is Aliu Doma,
and I remain Abdullah Usman Liman.
And don't forget, this is Echoes of Hajj from Assalam Peace Magazine here on our
Voice
studio.
Of the people.
Yeah, remember you can go watch a recap of this program or replay of this program on YouTube. It's there for you to watch, and we are also on Radio Box. You can check on Twitter and also Instagram at VOP961. From us to you, we say have a lovely day ahead. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.